What
Like, it's a
teams? I
team
wasn't even on
sport.
the opposite team. Just people.
Dude, you suck Fuentes' cock as hard as anybody. Who the fuck are you
I
talking
don't
to right
even
now?
know Nick Fuentes.
And as the old saying goes, the truth shall set you free. If you are new here and this is your first time tuning into my channel, thank you for watching the video. I'm doing this video because I have been getting like so many video clips in my Twitter feed about the whole Nick Fuentes situation, him almost getting assassinated by some random guy. I think the guy was taken out by authorities down in Illinois, where Nick Fuentes lives. And before we get into the meat of this video and I go through all the receipts that I have, I just want to say this. I do not support doxing. I think doxing should be a felony. I think swatting should be a felony. I'm a very conservative, America First individual. I'm older than I look, so I'm not here to beat him on Nick Fuentes too bad. I'm not a fan of his, but I do have a problem with some of the stuff that I have come across regarding Nick Fuentes encouraging his so-called groypers, his little goofy followers. I think Nick Fuentes and his followers are goofballs, but they have been known to dox people years prior to Nick Fuentes getting doxed and eventually having some crazy guy show up at his home. So without further ado, I'm going to be dropping some receipts. I'm going to be going over why I think Nick Fuentes is a goofball. Karma's very faithful. Like I said, I don't wish death on Nick Fuentes. I believe in the First Amendment. I don't believe that he should be silenced. I don't believe he should be assassinated because of what he says. However, I do think that it's problematic that he calls himself America First, and there are receipts all over social media that him and his followers have doxed people in the past, and he's even encouraged people to dox his enemies, and I have receipts to prove it.
As long as they're here to dox hillbilly, as long as they are soldiers, look, I don't care how gay they are. As long as they're my loyal cult members that give me money and dox hillbillies when I give the command, as long as my gay followers are unquestionably loyal cultists who will give me money and dox hillbillies when I say so, and they will destroy.
Now, that is just one little clip. I'm also going to drop some Twitter screenshots that I have of different people who claim to have been doxxed or know people who've been doxxed because of Nick Fuentes in the past. And there are allegations about Nick Fuentes' sexuality. Some people say he's a member of the LGBT community. He's a homosexual. He just doesn't want to come out and admit it. I don't know how true that is. I don't care if he is. That's his business. But he does have some ties to a very questionable guy who's very sussy, as the cool kids say, named Destiny. And I can't find the clip with him and Destiny, but he said some pretty gay stuff when he was having a, I guess, podcast episode with Destiny. But just the whole Groiper avatar, these goofy frogs, this is what his followers be using. A lot of these guys are young Gen Zers. A lot of them are incels. A lot of them are goofy, socially awkward. They're basement dwellers. They don't really have a whole lot going on in life. Nick Fuentes espouses a lot of white supremacist talking points. I guess he's a so-called advocate for the white race, but in my opinion, he's just a grifter. He's getting paid to do what he does. He has been deplatformed by YouTube and many other social media platforms. Of course, X, Twitter, which is under Elon Musk's control right now. It's a much freer platform than it used to be if you don't piss Elon Musk off, as we just saw with several MAGA influencers who disagree with him regarding the H-1B visa situation that's blowing up all over social media. I'm going to do a video about that probably tomorrow. But I want to focus on Nick Fuentes for this video. Like I said, there are many people on social media who claim that Nick Fuentes has doxed people. He said it himself, that he wants his followers to dox the hillbillies or whatever. And like I said, you want sympathy for this recent assassination attempt on your life that took place about a week and a half ago. But over the years, you've been encouraging people to dox people. So I did some digging, and there's a guy by the name of Chris Brunette who apparently has it out for Nick Fuentes. On his Twitter, he put America First is a gay cult that exploits, grooms, and preys upon vulnerable, socially isolated young men, particularly those struggling with anger and autism. Another person responded and put, America First comes before everything else, everything before your wife and your children. And your mother and your father is a thing of honor. So this guy, Chris Brunette, you can look his Twitter up. He has a lot of receipts about Nick Fuentes. I guess Nick Fuentes made him an enemy. I don't know much about him. Another guy named Big Snoop put, but Nick, you personally okayed the docs of your associates. Mashi Moan called you out on it. You said everything is fair game. He then told you that was life ruination, so you can't moralize or preach about what you engaged, you hypocrite. So these are people that apparently Nick Fuentes is pissed off. I don't know if they're former friends of his or they just always didn't like him. The Big Snoop guy put another post. His entire pedo cult okayed so much garbage that it wouldn't be possible to bury it. These guys engaged in federal crimes and bragged about it, doxed and swatted members of Congress. The pedo shit is just the tip of the iceberg. What we don't know about is far worse. And last but not least, there's another guy who goes by the name of Ryan Dawson. He put, I don't know why I should defend him. The comments are nothing but trash from his cult. Groypers dox my family. Nick is a sociopath. These women who went to his house, however, are also fanatics. And these people are actually people that have pretty decent sized followings, especially that first guy, the brunette guy. I don't know much about him, but I did look at some of his posts. And this, of course, is a video clip from the ring camera from Nick Fuentes' home, where the little guy in the motorcycle helmet went to his home. Then a police officer showed up. You can go to Nick Fuentes' Twitter page and look at more of the video clips he posted. It's nothing really dramatic on those clips, but it really was a guy who came to his home. I'm not disputing the veracity of the claims that Nick Fuentes made, but I do believe that Nick Fuentes had this coming based on what he's done in the past. And then there's a guy who I've heard of, and many of you may have heard of, named Baked Alaska. He put, I think I deserve a day in court for Nick viciously lying, slandering, mass reporting my socials, and defaming me. Many others absolutely. Also to all the people who were doxxed and threatened by the Groypers. Some even underage children who got RAPE threats. So those are just some of the many receipts that I have from people who are not too keen on Mr. Fuentes. I understand that people like him are going to naturally have haters. I understand that people like him are going to naturally cause a lot of controversy. I get it. I mean, I'm a very, very small YouTuber. I have another channel that's a little bit bigger than this one, but it's a totally different type of channel. And my TikTok, I have a few thousand followers, but I don't really do a lot of content uploading because I work a lot in real life. I have a really intense job, but I'm trying to become more consistent with my YouTube videos. So like the video, even if you don't like it, share, comment, whatever, if you disagree with what these posts say. If you agree with what these posts say, I still want to hear from you too. But the bottom line is this, like I said, we as a society have taken social media and some of these influencers way too far. Like the worship of these guys has just gone way too far. Like I said, I'm not a fan of Nick Fuentes. I'm not a fan of his goofy Groyper brigade. But whenever you put this type of energy out into the universe, please believe it's going to come back on you. You know, it's kind of like a boomerang effect. Some people may not believe in karma, but I do. And like I said, I don't believe Nick Fuentes or anybody should be executed based on their words. But when you are encouraging your followers to dox people, don't go boo-hooing and whining and crying when it happens to you. Straight up. I mean, here in my home state of Georgia, one of our most controversial representatives, Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's up in the 14th district, which is above where I live. I'm in the Atlanta metro. She's a little bit above Atlanta, and her district is very, very Republican. I think she's the most Republican district in the whole state, and she's been swatted at least 2-3 times, and she don't dox nobody. She don't get down like that. Marjorie Taylor Greene is over 50 years old. She's too old to be playing them type of games anyway. And I personally believe the people who did it to her need to be locked up and they need to be sent to prison. Yes, prison. If you SWAT any member of Congress, if you SWAT anybody, I don't care if it's a regular Joe Blow down the street, you should do some prison time, and you should be forever labeled as a convicted felon for misuse of law enforcement, misuse of public servants, because a law enforcement officer is a public servant, attempted murder, whatever charge that they can put on these people, they need to be charged with a serious felony for doing that type of act. It's wrong. It's very wrong. So like I said, I don't want nothing bad to happen to Nick Fuentes for his words, but I do have a problem with Nick Fuentes doxing people and encouraging his very, very gullible and weak-minded followers to dox people. And to me, Nick Fuentes ain't somebody you should be following no way, because he's a weak, low testosterone goofball. He's very low T. He's very effeminate. He may very well be a closet homosexual. Now, the pedo stuff, that's some very, very serious allegations. I hope those are nothing but allegations, so I'm not going to go too deep on those. But just by his mannerisms and his demeanor and the way he talks and the way he carries himself, I don't see masculinity. I don't see a alpha or a guy that's oozing masculinity. I just see a guy with a little bit of charisma, a little bit of edge to him that a lot of younger, goofy white males that live in their mom's basement happen to follow. A lot of people are followers. Most people are followers. So I'm not surprised that Nick Fuentes has a pretty solid fan base of tens of thousands, maybe even 100,000 or more of these goofy little young white Gen Z boys that follow him and do what he tells them to do. But I still don't think he's a masculine guy, and I still don't think that he's somebody that is a role model for people to be following. But I'm gonna wrap the video up. I have a couple more things to put in this video that I did download. And there's a guy by the name of Owen Schroyer, I think is his name, who was defending Nick Fuentes, stating that he gets a First Amendment, Second Amendment. And like I said, that's all well and good. But Nick Fuentes doesn't get to dox people or encourage people to be doxed and then cry wolf when it happens to him. Straight up.
Nick Fuentes gets a First Amendment right and a Second Amendment right. I don't care whether you love him or hate him. He gets the same rights as every other American. And I think it's time for public figures to really make a big deal out of this doxing phenomenon. Also, swatting, which kind of falls into the same category. And I think members of the press, the media, public figures, all need to band together right now and push for some sort of laws against doxing and swatting. This has gotten out of hand. Now, let me tell you why the situation with Nick Fuentes is actually worse than people even realize. And there are few people that can even relate to what he's going through, and I just so happen to be one of them. Nick is likely fighting for his Second Amendment right now. Because the last time some nut job showed up at his house. Now, I don't want to get into Nick's legal situation, and I don't want to say anything that might put him in a precarious situation that's already worse than what he's in, but let me just speak from experience. They will take your Second Amendment right, especially when you have charges pending. And they do not care, even if you get death threats. They do not care.
And I just want to interject real quick. This Owen, or however you say his name, Owen Schroyer guy, I guess he's an ally or a supporter of Nick Fuentes. And a lot of the stuff he just said, I've already said earlier in the video. We're on the same page when it comes to Nick Fuentes being a American citizen with constitutional rights. All of them. And I guess Nick Fuentes is in some situation where his Second Amendment right may be jeopardized because he's going through some legal situation. I guess he had a arrest somebody. I think he got into an altercation with somebody, and I don't know all the details. It was he got arrested recently. It wasn't nearly as big of a story of him almost getting assassinated. So I have to go back and do more research. Some of y'all may have heard about that, but I agree with this gentleman, Owen Schroyer, 100% about the doxing and the swatting situation getting out of control 100%.
Let me explain a quick philosophy and then tell a story. And this is my philosophy, and I would recommend this, but to each their own. I understand why people want to break news. It's a big story, or you need to fundraise for legal defense, self-defense, whatever, whenever you get doxxed or somebody shows up at your house or a death threat or swatted. My philosophy is never promote it. Never. Never. Because when you promote getting doxxed, when you promote getting death threats, when you promote getting swatted, people showing up at your house, all that does is motivate others to do it, and it confirms that they have your right address. When I was going through my legal battles for 5 years, they took away my Second Amendment right. I had to turn my guns over. Non-violent crimes. For my political speech, no crimes at all. Political persecution. For my political speech, I had my First Amendment and my Second Amendment taken from me. Taken. So I couldn't defend myself. I couldn't defend my home. I couldn't defend my family. And I will tell you how bad it is. I had multiple death threats. I had people showing up to my house. No, I never talked about it because of the philosophy I already explained. But I have had to move because of this situation. I've had family that's had to move because of residences that I used to live at that people got a hold of and sent stuff and showed up at my family's house.
Okay, so this video is going on way too long. I apologize for going over the time that I said it would be, but he rambles on for a couple more minutes about his personal situation with being swatted. And I don't have a problem with anything that Owen Schroyer was stating in his defense of Nick Fuentes. I 100% agree, like I've said this whole video. I just have a problem with Nick Fuentes not being a man of his word, not practicing what he preaches. You can't call yourself America First, Mr. Fuentes, or anybody else that's on this side of the aisle, when you encourage your followers to do the exact opposite of America First, to dox people and to potentially swat people that you identify as an enemy or a political opponent, even if they're on the right. It is not America First. There's nothing America First about that, period. And I take doxing and swatting very seriously. I'm a nobody on YouTube at the moment. My account will get more subscribers. I mean, I started with 0 and I have over 200. So that's a start. I just don't do this enough to have a super big platform. But I'm going to try to get more content out more consistently. That's something I just have to work on and balancing with my work life. I'm a landscaper by trade, so I work a lot. But nonetheless, I'm going to drop some more videos regarding swatting and doxing and all that stuff. And Nick Fuentes may be in the video. He may not be in the video in the future. But Owen Schroyer is correct. Anybody that's supporting Nick Fuentes is correct when it comes to the swatting is not cool. The person showing up at his house wanting to kill him. I think the guy had a firearm as well as a crossbow. So he definitely wanted to hurt Nick Fuentes. That's true. We can all agree that that was wrong and it should not have happened. But like I said, homie, don't complain about it happening to you when you've been encouraging your followers to do it. Come out and denounce it. Say you was wrong. Say I'll never do it again. Tell your stupid followers to never do it again. As goofy as I think Nick Fuentes is, as low T as I think he is, as homosexual as I think he is, I don't believe he should get his head blown off because of his rhetoric and how goofy he portrays himself to be in front of the world. My take on his philosophy, that's another video for another day. I have my opinions about white supremacist and white nationalist rhetoric. I'll do a video about that in the near future, but I just wanted to call out Nick Fuentes for being a total hypocrite when it comes to being America First, because America First means freedom of speech. America First means respecting people and not trying to harm or destroy people that you don't agree with ideologically or politically. And that's all I have to say regarding this video. I hope y'all found this video informative. Y'all like, y'all share, y'all subscribe, thumbs up, thumbs down. Tell me you liked it, tell me you didn't like it, whatever. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.